Hello and welcome to our predicted lineup episode live on Up the Villa podcast. So you're basically going to be in our WhatsApp chat and just involved in the Up the Villa podcast headspace. And what we want you guys to do that are watching is drop in your predicted lineups when we get to the certain players. So we want it to be really interactive and we want you guys to get involved. But before we start, drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel and just get involved. But one mad thing that happened to me today, a little bit surreal about the podcast, to be fair. So I was cutting this guy's hair at work and he's basically a soldier. He works and lives in the Middle East for the British Army. And we got speaking, obviously, about what football team they support. And he spoke about Aston Villa. And basically I said, how did you find out about your information on Aston Villa? And he just turns around and says, I watch podcasts. And he was like, I watched this one and it's really good called Up the Villa Podcast. And I just thought it was absolutely mental that he didn't recognise me, but he watches our podcast. And I just thought it was just such a surreal moment working in Sutton Coldfield. And this guy watches our podcast in the Middle East. I thought it was mental, but everybody, welcome to the show. So we didn't get your thoughts, Hannah, on your preview for Spurs. So how are you feeling about Aston Villa v Spurs?
I'm feeling nervous and not particularly looking forward to it, which is probably not a very positive start to this little live stream. But yeah, I think a lot of us are haunted by the last time we were all in the ground for a Spurs game, which was that horrid 3-2. I think it was like a February. It was right before we went into a lockdown. And that day was just bizarre because obviously at that point we were sort of relegation fodder and we equalised twice, didn't we, against Spurs? And, you know, thought this would be a big result for us. And then last minute, Son goes and scores and breaks his arm. So haunted a little bit by that. And obviously recent form, we've spoke about how inconsistent we've been. So not feeling too positive, to be fair. They're in, you know, probably the best spot they've been in for quite a while under Conte, you know, real good challenge for top four now. So we can't underestimate that they're probably not the Spurs team that they've been for large patches of the last couple of years. They are actually a decent side. So they've got a handful of very dangerous players that we've got to be careful of. But fingers crossed that we can, you know, get back to winning ways and sort of bounce back with our very odd form and get something at home where hopefully we'll have the fans behind us and we'll have Felipe and some of our quality players that can equally do the damage and hopefully they pull through for us.
Yeah, we've got to rise up to the occasion for sure. So let's get straight into it then. So Villa fans, drop in who you think the left back's going to be and we'll put you all on the screen as well. But we'll start off with the standard, the obvious, Emi Martinez. He's obviously going to start in goal. Justin, what do you make of Martinez this season? He's probably not got the clean sheets, which he absolutely thrives off, but we are conceding a few, aren't we? Which is not going to be great, and he'd be fuming about that. So Martinez's season, what are you thinking about it?
He's had a very good season, hasn't he? Probably not quite up to the standards of last season, but I think given what's happened this season with the up and down nature of what's, you know, with the managerial changes and our form is so inconsistent that, you know, he's often, well, he's the last line of defence, isn't he? And he's often, you know, been the one that's had to try and keep us in games. I went to Wolves last week and he made a couple of very good saves against them. That kept us in it, really, because, you know, 2-0, you can always try, you know, when we got the goal back and then, you know, we could have nicked something at the end, and if it wasn't for him, we'd have been 3 or 4 down. So he's probably the most critical part of our squad at the moment, isn't he? Because he's come in and he's from day one, he's been absolutely outstanding. I think, you know, we all crave a top quality goalkeeper. We have done, and we've had loads over the years. we've built our sides. We had all our best sides over the last probably decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, as long back as I can remember. You don't win nothing unless you've got a top goalkeeper, and that's something we don't have to worry about really at the moment. It's a position that's very well filled by probably one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League at the moment, if not Europe. So long may it continue. He's got a long-term deal. Hopefully things will only start improving in front of him. And yeah, he's been outstanding.
I think he has had a little bit more inconsistency, which seems really harsh, doesn't it? Because we still look at him as one of our best players. But if we think about last year, where it felt like every game he was, getting points or making crucial saves, it does feel like there's been a couple of times this season where I thought, that's a bit of a mistake. The obvious one is the Man United free kick from Bruno Fernandes. But there's been a couple of moments where I thought, he could have done better there, where I felt like last season there was never a moment where I thought he could do better. So I think that's kind of been in line with this year compared to last year, where there's just been the odd few games where last year we probably would have got something out of it, and this year it feels like we haven't. So I don't know if that's, it's not all on Martinez, but there is like a little bit where I feel like he's not quite performed, which is what you say, Justin.
He's had a bit of a slog of a season now, hasn't he? He's had the Copa America in the summer, and then he's been back and forth to Argentina, God knows how many times, and he got stuck out there. Then he got arrested in Brazil, got deported, ended up in Croatia for a couple of weeks. So he went to Argentina again, didn't he, on the last international break, and they couldn't reduce his suspension, so he spent a week and a half over there just training, really. So it has been a bit of a slog of a season for him, but he is top quality, isn't he? He's top quality, and the last 3 games, it hasn't really been any his fault, has it? None of them goals is his blame, and he's kept us in them. We've only lost 10 games by the odd goal, and he's just Mr. Consistent, isn't he?
Here's one for you then, Justin. What are you saying?
At the moment, I would say that I've probably seen a couple better, but that's because he's only had a season and a bit, hasn't he, at the Villa so far? But I think if he stays for the length of his contract, I think he'll be the best keeper I've probably ever seen at Villa. And as long as his standards stay as high as they are, yeah. But I love Bosnich. I thought Bosnich was outstanding. I thought Spinky, we've had a Spinky on here, so we've got to big him up, what he did for the club and his longevity at the club as well, how long he stayed at the Villa for, and his standards were amazing from day one till almost the day he left as well. So, I can't not really big up Spinky. Bosnich was outstanding. We've had some very, like I said, some really, really good goalkeepers, but for him to be even, in amongst those players, then it shows how good he is, yeah.
Yeah, not forgetting Mr. Brad Friedel, Peter Enkelman.
Friedel's outstanding. Yeah,
Enkelman. Pete, got a few more words than usual.
Yes, normally one word, Pete. No, I would agree. I think probably at the moment Bosnich just edges it, but that's because for a bit of a more longevity. But I think Martinez will end up. I think if he puts a trophy on the cabinet as well at some point, then I think there'll be not many people would argue that he'd be the best keeper we've probably seen for a long, long time.
Yeah, plus Bosnich had that personality as well, didn't he? Which Martinez has got. Yeah. You got that great video of him, didn't you, at Leeds dancing around after the game? Yeah, so it's just that personality that the whole end and the rest of the stadium, to be fair, warms to.
The only thing that let Bosnich down was his kicking, but everything. I mean, a shot stopper I've never seen. I think I went to Sunderland away in the League Cup once on a Wednesday night, and we got absolutely battered. We won 4-1. I think we had 4 shots on target. And they peppered our goal all night, and they should have been 4-5 up before we scored. And some of the saves he made were just unreal.
It's his penalties as well. His penalty saves as well. Wasn't it against Tottenham? Didn't he save about 3 in a week against Tottenham?
I think he did. Yeah.
He did, didn't he?
2 in a game, once, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He's back anyway.
Pete's back.
Lose. So let's rifle through the defence. Some positions are more easier to pick because there is sort of no competition, but I think everybody, if Luca Dean is fit from his stomach cramp or whatever forced him off against Wolves, I feel like Luca Dean starts this game. Does anyone disagree? Anyone in the comments think Ashley Young? What we saying?
No, it's got to be Dean, hasn't it? I mean, I know we had a bit of a tummy ache last week, so we don't know the ins and outs of that. I was fuming when he went off. I thought, you've just come back, you can't do this. And then, so I was very glad to hear it wasn't an injury and he just had a bit of a bad belly. But he's got to start, hasn't he? I feel like we've barely seen him recently, and I think if we're going to get something out of this game, we need our fullbacks to be performing, because this season we've been at our best when Cash and Dean have been, at the top of the game.
Yeah,
I think we haven't seen the best of Luca Dean yet, have we?
No.
And I think that's to come.
No.
And I was gutted when he came off last week. But yeah, I think if he can replicate anything like his best form, then he's an outstanding left back. We haven't seen anything like that yet. So hopefully things will only improve for him.
Yeah, so everybody that's watching now, hit the like button. It'll help push this out into YouTube a little bit more. It sort of gets it noticed as well. So centre-backs, Mings, captain. I feel like he will start. He's one yellow card away from missing 2 games as well. So, yeah, you've got to be careful. And the other centre-back position, then what we're saying, because I felt it was a little bit harsh on Chambers to get dropped against Arsenal. I felt like he never did anything wrong. He turned into prime Pirlo. So do we feel like he's going to stick with Conza, or Chambers comes in? Because I don't know. Is Conza's form dipped a little bit? What's everyone saying?
I'd say
Since he go on, Hannah.
No, it's fine. I was just going to say on that question, this season it feels like some of our best players' performances have dipped, and that's probably why we've been so consistent. Conza is obviously an excellent player, but I know slips happen, but a slip happens and we can see the goal. Does that completely change the game? Yes. There's little moments where, again, they've just not been proper Conza quality. And, yeah, you're probably not going to drop Mings. You're probably not going to drop Conza. Whether Chambers was dropped out the side because Conza was just very good in training, or was Gerrard protecting him from a bit of Arsenal stick because he wasn't particularly, thick-skinned or something. I don't know. But I think we'll probably stick with Conza and Mings.
Yeah, I do think he will as well. And then obviously Matty Cash starts. I said that I feel like he's Villa's player of the season. I just think he's had a real good season. So I'd say that's the back 4 then. So let's start off then with CDM.
Just quickly before, sorry, mate. There's been a lot of people saying these in the group chat now, and I like the idea of going to a back 3. I don't think Gerrard will do it because that's not the way he plays. But if you look at our 3 centre halves we've got currently, it would actually suit the squad to go with their 3 centre halves, don't you think? Especially if you had a 5-3-2, so you'd have 5 at the back. Your fullbacks then that he likes to get forward could get forward without worrying too much about sitting, back and leaving 2 at the back exposed. And then we're worrying a lot about the midfield, so it gives us a bit more stability at the back. I remember when we switched to 3 at the back years ago. It was Southgate, Ekiog, and did it that way, and it works. And I don't think he will, but I think that's definitely an option for him to maybe do that.
It could work in this game, couldn't it? Because the way Kane is dropping deep, if you had Chambers in the middle, where he could step up into that defensive midfield role and literally follow, literally man mark Kane, literally man mark him. You still keep your back 4 then when Chambers steps out. So me personally, I'm jumping ahead now because I'd prefer him at defensive midfield. Yeah, and that's where he causes trouble, doesn't it? Big time, like he's seen against Newcastle.
Yeah,
I mean, it terrifies me thinking of Kane dropping into that quarterback role. It just terrifies me that we've just got to get a grip and got to get a handle on it. And to be fair, we know that's what's coming. So hopefully, we've been on that training pitch knowing what is about to come. Then, so who are we going with CDM for this game? Then is it Luis? Justin, what are you saying?
I don't know. I gotta be honest. When he came on, I was a bit annoyed last week when he came on because I thought, what a waste of a substitution that is. We're chasing the game, we're 2-0 down, we're putting Douglas Luiz on. But I'll hold my hands up at the end of the game. It did change the game a little bit. He did give us a little bit more stability in the middle of the park. He got his foot on the ball. He knocked it around more. things did start to improve a little bit when he came on. So he's still the only obvious CDM, isn't he, in the squad currently that's fully match fit. I know Nakamba's not far away. I've been advocating to play Callum Chambers there at some point because I think he needs to try out, if he does any good. I agree with Jack. I think he can play there, but I don't think. I think he would have played him there by now if he was going to play there. We've had opportunity, especially like last week. He had the opportunity if he was thinking of changing it, and he did. He left Louise out. He put Sanson in there, didn't he? And he dropped McGinn into the defensive midfield role, which was a bit of a nightmare because he slipped and he created the first goal for him. But yeah, it's the age-old problem: who plays there and who can do the best job there. Chambers, Louise, Sanson, McGinn are the four in the Canberra. I wouldn't count him at the moment because he's not fit enough yet to start. But I think you got to stick with Douglas Luiz. I do, yeah, for this one. I think for me, I would just stick with Douglas Luiz.
Yeah, and then you're seeing that it's that other two, isn't it? You've got Ramsey and McGinn. Did Sanson do enough to keep his place? You were at the game, Ryan. What were your thoughts watching Sanson at the Monia?
He had a decent game. He had a very decent game. He pressed well. But he come in place of John McGinn, who pushed into number 6. So McGinn's his man, isn't he? And Ramsey's his man. I talked on the preview about Gerrard planting seeds, and Ramsey looked like he needed a break. He looked a bit lethargic. But if we want to be pushing for Europe next season, then this is going to be the most crucial part of the season, isn't it? You look at Tottenham fighting, Arsenal fighting, West Ham fighting. And if Ramsey's going to push on and be the player we want him to be, he's going to have to step up in this period now to the end of the season. So I think it's good that we're playing him through this part of the season. So come next season, there's no surprises. He knows the demands. He knows what's required of him. So I think Ramsey and McGinn do keep their place for this one. Tottenham at home. Unfortunately, I think Sanson just misses out.
Yeah. Do you think so as well, Hannah?
Think so. I agree, but in terms of what I'd want, I would rest Jacob Ramsey. I've been saying it for weeks. He looks off it, and I do agree. Like, there's the two options: you play the kid through it to just break the pattern, or you bench her. The one instance I think of this season where it really worked is the one game where Gerrard dropped Ollie Watkins, and then the next game brought him back on into the starting 11, and he did look really sort of re-energised, and he scored that game. Yes, obviously it's still not consistent, but I feel like he might just need a little bit of a circuit breaker and just have one game to sit and get that hunger back, get that drive back to come back into the first team the week after. Because realistically, it is going to be Ramsey that gets the place over Sanson every week. But I'd be happy to have Louise as our defensive midfielder, and then have Sanson in the middle, and then try and have John McGinn as our most forward midfielder, because I think that's where he should be playing anyway, and it's such a shame that we feel like we waste him a lot of the time. And obviously fans can get frustrated, but at the end of the day, we do seem to play 2 out of our 3 midfielders in not their best position, in Douglas Luiz and John McGinn. So I feel like we've just got to try something a little bit different this week. And if we can put John McGinn more advanced where he is more attacking, why not? Is my attitude at this point.
Well, all I want to see from that midfield on Saturday is get a grip of what's going on, because I think we're in for a tough game, and it's going to be wave after wave. What are you going to say, Justin?
I'm 100%. I think it's time for Ramsey to sit out a game now. I love Jacob Ramsey, and he's been brilliant for us since he's come in, and he's going to be a superstar going forward. But I totally agree that he looks a bit leggy. He has looked a bit leggy the last few weeks. And for me, when you're up against, Bentancur's come in and he's done that outstanding for them. They got Holberg in there as well, who's outstanding. And those 2 types of players in front, for me, you need to try and match him up as best as you can. So for me, Sanson's got the stature about him. He's a big presence. He's good on the ball. He doesn't give the ball away that much. And so I would go Sanson and McGinn. I would. That would be my. I don't see it as dropping. It's not dropping anymore. It's resting. We've got a squad, and that's where we've got to aim to be now. We've got to have a big squad, and we've got to bring players in to do jobs in certain games against certain opposition. And I think against Spurs in the form they're in, we've got to try and get hold of that midfield and try and dominate as much as we can. It's going to be difficult because they're flying, but like we're saying about Kane dropping deep, Kulusevski's been brilliant. Son, he's all over the place. They've got the attacking wing backs that took in as well. So they're going to be a big threat. So we've got to try and match him up. And for me, Sanson, he got his start last week. He didn't disappoint. I personally didn't think he deserved to come off. I think there's other advocates that could have come off before him. And I would go with him on Saturday. Louise, Sanson and McGinn for me.
Yeah. This McGinn one, I can't think where I saw it, but his stats on Saturday were actually quite good, weren't they? I think he was
I don't know.
top of the charts for the lot, but it's like I don't think we can afford to rest McGinn, and I don't think we can afford to not have McGinn in the team. That's the way I look at it. I think it's weak anyway. That area of the pitch, I just think is our weakest area, and I think you take McGinn out. I think it's. I don't know. I think it's all.
I think the issue is he's the powerhouse, and no matter how you feel about John McGinn, he's going to run for 90 minutes, and he's going to still.
Energy,
85th minute, he's going to be throwing in tackles. It's polarised at the minute. There's people who are frustrated, but if you're going to choose who to rest out of Ramsey and McGinn, you're going to rest Ramsey because the fact of the matter is, you will get more out of John McGinn. You might have more goals in Ramsey, but if we're talking about lasting 90 minutes and having energy in the team and a bit of edge, because we need that against a side like Tottenham, you're going to have to get John McGinn in the team. And at the minute, we don't have any two good enough midfielders on the bench to rest both Ramsey and McGinn.
I think as well what you said earlier, and I think Ramsey tends to be the one that breaks forward and tries to break the lines and drives with the ball. So with him out the side and Sanson in, I think that gives McGinn more licence then to become that player that can get forward and do what he does for Scotland so well and what we've been crying out for him to do for Villa for so long. If anything, he gets deeper and deeper and deeper up to the point where he was playing in the 6 last week. We want to see him more in a 10. He's not going to be a 10 because of Coutinho, obviously, but he's got to be the midfielder that gets forward and breaks into the box, and he's hunting around the edge of the box for bits and pieces. And when the ball breaks down, that's where I want to see John McGinn. And I think playing Sanson next to him possibly opens it up for him to be more like that, because Ramsey is the one currently that will be the one that supports more, the 10s and the 9s really going forward.
Yeah, it's his press as well, isn't it? When they've got the ball in defence as well, he offers that, he leads that, doesn't he? He brings that energy to that press, and when he is in a deeper role, we've seen him drop back into that false fullback sort of role, haven't we? Where he's covering the fullback going forward. We miss it, don't we? We miss that drive in midfield. So I think we do need to keep him central to everything, because we've seen when the midfield don't click, we lose. It's as simple as that. Every defeat we have, it's like, the midfield didn't work today. We got ran over. Their midfield was organised. They had a plan, and it's every defeat. And when we do win, is when the midfield's performing. So we do need to get it right on Saturday, because Tottenham are looking very good at the minute.
So, I think that's a brilliant point, Ryan. Other clubs have got false 9s, and we've got a false fullback.
Fox, yeah, we've always been different, mate.
He's a false fullback.
We're Aston Villa. We do what we want.
Drop your front three. Then what are you going with? Are you going with two number 9s or 2 number 10s? But before you do, drop the video a like, and if you are new to us, subscribe to the channel. Your support recently has been absolutely huge. When Villa aren't doing so good, you've stuck by the channel, and I'm just glad that you enjoy all of our content. Then, so Coutinho starts for sure. He's got to start this game, which he will. Do we go with another number 10 or 2 number 9s? I feel like we might go with 2 strikers to occupy their back line. I felt like we would have done against Wolves had Danny Ings not have had a kid, which is great for him, but not great for us because he missed the game. But Hannah, what's your vibe? What are you going with?
Yeah, I think Gerrard sort of insinuated pre-match that Danny Ings was going to be in the match day starting 11, but, baby popped out, as they do. So, yeah, I think we know, and
Terrible
Gerrard said
timing.
so selfish. I think Gerrard said, hasn't he, in numerous press conferences, that he doesn't want to have a goal scorer, a number 9, sat on the bench. Which, we can't really argue with that logic in the sense that we want to be seeing goals. We want both of our strikers to be firing. So I do think we'll go back to 2 up top. We've seen it work on a couple of occasions. Other times, no. So I'm feeling a bit frustrated at the minute because I really want Emi Buendia to play. Whether that's just me being biased, because I think he's very good. And I think every time he comes on, he is that player that is running through the lines. That's his game, isn't it? He's running in between the lines, he's breaking through, and he's finding that pass. Coutinho can do that. Obviously, he's immensely talented, but, Buendia also has that similar skill of finding the right ball. And I feel like when we're struggling to create, as we saw against Wolves and lots of other games this season, you need that special player that is just flair and can pick the pass for Watkins, Ings, whoever. So I am disappointed that he's not getting the game time. How is he going to squeeze into this team now with both our strikers fit and Coutinho, because Gerrard's not going to drop Coutinho? So I do think it will be Coutinho, Ings and Watkins, but I really want to see Buendia.
I think I feel a bit harsh on Buendia though as well, because he has had a decent season for us, hasn't he? And, it's just hard fitting him in this team. But when he came on against Wolves and that through ball, he was brilliant, wasn't he, Ryan?
Yeah, he come on against West Ham, didn't he, and got that assist for Ramsey when he turned about 4 of the West Ham defence, didn't he, and laid it off beautifully. Yeah, he's come on and made a massive difference. And it's tough. It's tough for him, isn't it? He went with Bailey on Saturday. There's a case that Buendia could have come in then, but he chose to give Bailey the minutes and have a look at Bailey. But I think for a game of this magnitude at home to Tottenham, Coutinho's form at Villa Park has been sensational. The Man United debut, Southampton was another level when seeing a player in a Villa shirt produce that type of quality and the balls he was pinging, it was effortless. So I think Coutinho does start. A bit harsh on Buendia, but he'll keep plugging away. He's a right little battler, isn't he? He's got some heart. He has really got a heart, Buendia has, and I do like him, but I just think he will sit this one out, and I think he'll revert to 2 up top. I think Brighton game when he went with it 2 up top, we just didn't look back then, did we? We absolutely blew Brighton away. Blew Leeds away, blew Southampton away. Yeah, we got a rubbish result against West Ham, and then we resorted back to the 2 number 10s. But I do think Ings and Watkins will go up top. Can't see him dropping Watkins, and I think Ings will come back in.
So Dino, super chat. He's
Here he is.
5 Santa's in tonight. Thank you,
I've got
mate.
my first fan. Thank you.
To be fair, you've got quite a few fans in the comment section. Very insightful indeed.
Yeah, I'll have to look back afterwards to boost my ego a little bit.
Yes. So, I mean...
Captain Kai's here as well.
Captain K, yeah. So, I guess the lineup looks pretty decent then. So, we've got one where I'm not sure what we've gone with, but Martinez, Luka Dean, Mings, Konsa, Cash, Louise, McGinn, Coutinho, Ings, Watkins, and I'm not sure whether everybody wanted Ramsey or Sanson, but I felt like the vibe was more for Ramsey. So that is the lineup. Yeah, you've got some more comments coming in now, Hannah, as well. So right there. There we go.
You did bite him a bit.
I'll tell you what, though, I'll tell you what, us three, we get no comments like this coming in, do we? So, yeah, fair play to you. So how are we feeling then, Spurs? I'm really nervous, and I don't know why. I never get like this, but I'm just a bit dreading the game for some reason. Does anyone else feel like that?
Yeah,
A little bit, but
Definitely.
it's natural, isn't it? I think it's natural that. Thanks, Captain
Here we
K.
go.
It's the hair, isn't it? I do. I am nervous, to be honest, but I think it's natural coming off the back of three defeats, especially when you factor in that how good they're looking at the moment and where they are in the league. It's only like. It sounds reading these comments. Ryan, Mark's Ryan.
I feel like we've got proper.
It's got a great name. Great name.
Yeah, I am sorry. Getting back on topic, I am nervous, but that's natural because of what's happening to us and what's happening to them. And it's a big game, 3 defeats. The pressure's massively on us now to get something out of this game. And just quickly go back to the formation. I think the key for winning this game is that front three. It's got to be, and I think it's got to be Ings and Watkins. You know, Ings last week was a big miss because of the chances we created. If he'd have been on the end of one or two of the ones that we created, I fancy him to bury them. That's Watkins' biggest Achilles heel, isn't it? He's finishing. And then Buendia, first sub for me, if things aren't going right, he comes off the bench. You know, I'd even drop Coutinho into the midfield 3 and play him in the 10 and play him in the midfield. So it's a huge, huge game. What we need now is a bit of happiness and a bit of positivity. So a result on Saturday hopefully would help us to sort of calm the nerves, to be honest, and get us to the end of the season, because what we don't want to happen is just crumble at the end of the season and all the negativity going into the summer. We just don't want that, and we've got some tough games coming up, so hopefully Saturday we can have a turning point. And I wouldn't rule it out getting a result against Spurs, to be honest, because it's just quality mug. It's what Villa do, isn't it? Just as when you think things are can't go any worse, we go and pull that one out of the bag. So I think we're due a win. So hopefully Saturday they'll all turn up and we'll have a good performance. But it is very, very nerve-wracking going Saturday. I think there'll be a lot of nervous energy in the first 10 minutes of that game.
I'll tell you what, I do think the Villa Park crowd need to turn up from the off. The atmosphere ain't been the greatest, has it? It's been dictated by what's been going on the pitch, really. The players have got the crowd going at times, and I just think under the lights, 5:30 kickoff, I think everyone needs to get a few beers inside them before they come down. Get lively, and we just have it from the off, because I think they will need our support, and it'd be good to get a proper, vibrant Villa Park on the go on Saturday.
Well, you're all right in the box, chomping on your prawn sandwiches.
Oh no, I'll be full up after my
free
5 course.
with all your free beer.
Yeah, I'll be leading it.
You'll be fine.
I'll be leading it from the Trinity Road. Yeah.
You see a bloke jumping out of the box into the crowd surfing. You know who it is.
Don't worry, me and Justin will do the fan cams. Don't you put yourself out.
I'll be in the background. I'll be up the stairs, looking out the window.
I think you're right though. Like, the fans are so important, and it has been a bit flat. Feels like we haven't been Villa Park for a while. I can't even remember what the last game was now. But I think going into this game, a lot of us are going to not be very confident, and it's understandable. But if you look at our form, we're going to win 3, lose 3. The winning form starts now. We're going to win 3 in a row. Clip that when we lose the next 3. But I think we've got to turn it around at some point. We shouldn't fear any team. We should believe that we've got quality players. And the thing that will frustrate me, again, is if we wait until like the 75th minute to make a substitution if it's not going right. I'm all for, if someone's having a stinker at half-time, get them off. Prove your point, Gerrard, and show that you have to turn up in the first half. If we are really slow, if we concede an early goal, I don't know. I'm going to do a protest or something. I'm sick of it. It's driving me mad. So, how many times have we said it this season? Start well, Villa. Is it that difficult to just start a football game as you mean to go on?
Every preview show, I reckon at the end of the season we could clip it every single preview show. What we got to do is start from the off, right into them, and then on the match reactions, then we can clip. Oh God, we weren't off it from the off, was we? Story of our season, big time.
So
I agree with that comment a couple of minutes ago. That we're talking like Spurs are like the greatest team ever, and they're not untouchable. They're really not. They're a good side and they're playing well, but they're not unbeaten. We can beat them. We've just got to have this belief and mentality that we can beat them. And like Hannah says, we've got to be at it from the first second. So when we go out, first tackle, get into them. you know, and to be fair against the Wolves last week, the first 5 minutes we were the better side. Then we made a mistake. So cut the mistakes out, start well, be very positive, get the fans off the seats early, try and let us score an early goal, and things will be very, very different come like 20 minutes into that game on Saturday. And that's all we can hope for, that they're really up for it.
Cool. Well,
we need a win.
You're sorted, Justin. Mikey, thank you for that. Ryan, you're sorted as well.
Oh, God, nice one, right? Cheers, mate.
He doesn't need to buy a pint. He's having them free, for God's sake.
Oh, no, don't give Ryan one. What are you doing that
Me and
for?
Luke are going first, you know.
Yeah. We'll be on the tap water. So there's an AGM meeting. Well, I think it's already happened. That's gone on today. So we're going to find out what has been said
It's
on
fan consultation, I think. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's the fan consultation evening, yeah.
I'm guessing tonight there'll be some vibes out on Twitter of what's got said. They're probably going to introduce the new 30% price increase, speaking about the North Stand as well. So that's going to be a bit of interesting news probably tonight or tomorrow morning as well. But yeah.
Just on the... Sorry, Luke, just on the stadium redevelopment, I know we've heard little bits and bobs today, potential, obviously the North Stand's going to be redeveloped, but I know somebody that did the tour the other week, and they were told that there's a potential for putting a third tier on the Doug Ellis as well.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently that's the next phase. So I don't know how true that is. This is just what they were told on the tour, that the North Stand will be knocked down. I think there's on about 13 extra thousand seats there, so it would take us up to 55. And then the potential next phase could be a third tier on the Doug Ellis.
Justin dropping the exclusives.
I know.
I don't know how much. I don't know how truth it is. Obviously, this is just second or third hand information, but that's very interesting.
Yeah, well, that's why you've all tuned in for Justin's live exchange.
Yeah, that's it. Drop the bomb. Mic drop.
And so, just before we go, then there was a massive game, Burnley-Everton, and I don't want Everton to go down. I really don't. They're just a traditional club, and I really like them.
I do.
They're one of them clubs that you have a bit of a soft spot for, really. But you've got one with Spurs, Justin, for your friend Terry.
Yeah.
I kind of like Everton. But do we think, and Villa fans, who do you think's going down then? Is it the three that are down there, or are Burnley going to get out of that? So what's your vibe on it, Hannah?
I just thought Burnley always do it, don't they? Burnley always pull something out of the bag. I mean, that was a massive win last night, wasn't it? Seriously massive. And I think the relationship Sean Dyche has with that club, the man is working wonders. Now, do I think they will avoid the drop? I couldn't tell you. The thing is, if I think of it from a non-relegation perspective and just think from a management perspective, I think Sean Dyche is more likely to get results and performances out of his Burnley side than Frank Lampard is going to get out of this Everton side. This Everton side, minus, they had a miracle victory against Newcastle. They look so just lost. What on earth is going on at that club? I think it's just a shambles from top to bottom. It's reminiscent of what we were like 5-6 years ago. And it's horrible to say because we know exactly how it feels when you think your club is just in the bin, you're going down and you don't see a way back. So from that perspective, I feel really bad for them. I hope they don't go down. But Frank Lampard, what have you done? Why did you take this job? I think if he goes down with Everton, he's going to struggle to get another Premier League job because it smells, doesn't it? It like that says his name is going to be in the mud because I think any manager would struggle with this bunch of players because there's only so much a manager can do if your players are not turning up and not fighting for it and are putting in awful performances. So hoping that they pull through. I feel like Villa and Everton, we're kind of like, we've got this little bond, haven't we? Similar clubs, similar histories. And as much as you don't like to say that about another club because we're rivals, I feel like a lot of us have a soft spot. But yeah, I don't know.
The thing is, we know what a 3-2 result like that does to you. We had one against Leicester, didn't we, the season we got relegated? We had one this season against Wolves, and it's a killer. That's a killer blow. I think that is the nail in the coffin. I do. I said a couple of weeks back when I seen the running and the fixtures that they had, that Everton were in trouble, and it only takes Burnley to go on the run. They've got to play Villa twice, so there's probably their customary 6 points, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so that's already 6 points. So they're already 5 points ahead of Everton with 4 or 5 games to go. But I do think Everton will go down. I'm with you, Luke. I do like Everton. It'll be sad to see them go down, but when you run that poorly, it's inevitable, isn't it? It happens, and big clubs drop like we did.
I remember doing the preview for one of the Everton games, and I think I broke it down. Each transfer window, how much money they'd spent, and it was over like about 3 seasons, and they were blowing money on Iwobi and all this lot, and the recruitment on that side of it. Sorry that it's not the Everton podcast, it's Villa, but I don't know. I just feel like it's reminiscent of Villa. Basically, it's so reminiscent. We had an Everton fan that must have just somehow watched our live stream the other day, and he commented, and he was like, serious question, is it as bad as what I think it's been in the Championship? And I just couldn't tell him how bad it was, because it's shocking, isn't it? It's like, yeah, you have the memories of, you've been in the Premier League where you're beating team, well, you're losing every week, then you go into the Championship and you win quite a few games, but no one can prepare you for it. No one could
prepare you for dragging your ass down Villa Park on a Tuesday evening to play Rotherham at home. Do you know what I mean? We had that amazing 10-game run, the Wembleys, and that was class, wasn't it? That was brilliant. That's the only bit I would take from the Championship. The rest of it was awful. It was a slug. The upper Doug Ellis was closed. Oh, it was dreadful, wasn't it? It was dreadful. You're not in the Premier League sticker book. You're not in FIFA games or anything like that. It's just totally wiped off the planet, man.
It's like you don't exist no more.
Exactly. Yeah, you're gone. See you later. in the bin.
I'm a bit different. I enjoy the Championship, and I think it ultimately it's what gave us the club back in the end with the Dean Smith run and everything. I know that was down not more luck than judgment, but obviously we had an amazing run of 10 wins. But that run and that promotion for me is what ignited where we are now and what we're doing now. So I think without that, whilst we were down a lot longer than we wanted to be, I presume I hope we'd go down and come straight back up. To be honest, I thought we'll just bounce straight back up, and when you don't bounce straight back up, that's when it gets a bit jittery. But ultimately, we got back up, and that's what reignited us as a club where we are now. And I personally think Everton are done. I really do. I'm not a massive fan of Everton. I don't particularly like them that much, to be honest. And I'll be glad to be another, ever present that's been in the Premier League that's gone. So that's another one. Yeah. Because we were never present and we went. So there's not many left now, I don't think. I think Arsenal are, aren't they? But you look at their running. They got United, Leicester, Liverpool, Chelsea, Leicester again. Then they go away to Watford, then Brentford, then Everton, and then Arsenal. Last game of the season. I genuinely think Lampard is a fraud. I don't think he's a good manager. I think he should have stayed at Derby, honestly, and built his reputation. He took a move too quickly to Chelsea, did okay, and then lost his job. And now Everton, he's just having an absolute mare. So I think it's time for him to back to the Championship, I think, for managing, which he probably will be next season with Everton. So
me, Justin and Ryan, we're feeling it a bit today. I don't know whether some of you might not know, but Up the Villa podcast are playing at Villa Park on the 5th of June. So we had a little 7-a-side with our team yesterday. My legs are in bits because I do a bit of running anyway, and I felt like I'll be all right. I haven't kicked a ball for absolute years, but last night, oh my days! Today my legs are gone. But yeah, so we are playing at Villa Park, so it's going to be a real good experience. So when the season finishes as well, we're going to do some little match previews for it, match reaction, player ratings for it as well. So it'll be really, really fun. But yeah, how's your legs today, Justin?
Well, what's worrying me is we had 14 turn up last night for the kick around, and we've got 6 injuries today. So that's it's a great start to the You know, one went to A&E with a possible bloody ruptured back, but he's okay, fortunately. Gary, shout out to Gary. Get well soon, mate. Yeah, it's going to be great. You know, it was an opportunity that arose in the summer, a few months back, and we jumped at it. We got a group together. A lot of people that watch the pod as well. Captain K comes on it. Gary gets involved in the pod as well. Josh that comes on from View from the Stands. TK does a lot of shirt printing. It's helped us out a lot. So it's a really good group of lads, to be honest. We met for the first time last night. I was probably I think I'm the only one that knew practically everyone, apart from one or two, I think. And it's a good group. We're having a good laugh. We've got a nice WhatsApp group going, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You know, we're going to get in the dressing rooms. We've got the home dressing room. We're going to walk out to the fanfare. We've got that we can park in the players' parking spots. We get a coach to coach us before the game. You know, we play 90 minutes. It's going to be phenomenal. You know, I'm 46 now. I packed up playing 6 years ago. I played all my life, and you know, I struggled last night, to be honest. You know, I've not kicked a ball for a long time, but I don't care. If I get on that pitch and I just have a kick about with a few of my mates, and Luke and Ryan are playing, so it's going to be an experience I'll never forget, to be honest. So it's going to be brilliant, you know. So, yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Oh, you know who I felt like, though? I felt like Leon Bailey. Kick that ball once in a while.
It's been about 4 years since I kicked a ball, and in my head I was like prime Gareth Barry, but like yesterday I was like Sasa Churchick. But it was a good crack though. It was a good crack. Yeah, really enjoyed it. If
anyone watches Josh's channel, View from the Stands, he's a good footballer. He's literally like John McGinn, weren't he, in the middle? But
I tell you what. Shout out to Josh. I don't know if everybody knows. He comes from, I think, Bedford, Gloucester, I think.
Gloucester.
And we put on the group chat that was having this just for 1 hour, 7-a-side kickabout last night, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And he finished school. He's a teacher, and he drove an hour and 40 minutes to come and play this hour game last night, and then he drove an hour and 40 minutes home. So that is just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. You know, what a lad he is. And he's a good footballer as well. So, you know, glad to have him on board.
But it's commitment to the team, Justin, which is what we like to see. What we like to see. So we'll end it there then. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It's been really enjoyable. It's sort of our second live. So, you know, we've got different concepts coming. So thank you very much. And before you all go, make sure you drop the video a like as well. And just thanks for being a part of it with us. So thank you. And
can I just do a quick shout out?
Yeah.
In the comment section, obviously when we was playing football yesterday, we seen Ellis before the game, who does a load of writing on the website. So he was buzzing to see us. We was buzzing to see him, and he's got a piece coming out in the morning, the opposition. So go and check that out. Also in the comments, I've seen Ivan, who's today's released a great nostalgic piece about Aston Villa and Inter Milan games back in the 90s. Cracking.
I've read that. It's brilliant. That is.
Yeah,
brilliant.
2 cracking games. And Mike's in the comments as well. He does the lone watch. So that come out today where Archer scored, Trezeguet got an assist, Keenan Davies got an assist. So and Kessler got man of the match. So really good lone watch read as well this week.
Cool. So thanks everyone, and thanks to the ones that dropped us a super chat as well. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.